Yo, we are back, and today I have a guard build that is going to change NBA 2K25. This build gets contact dunks, 94 three-pointer, 95 ball handle, and some insane defensive stats, including a 91 steal. This is going to be a build you're going to want to watch all the way through. I've made a ton of builds this year, and this is definitely my best guard build yet. Real quick, before we get started, drop a like, drop a sub, turn the notifications on. We're going crazy all through 2K25. Not wasting any more of your time, let's get right into this guard build. All right, getting right into the physical attributes here, we are going to go point guard, 6'3", and I already know what you're thinking. You've seen a ton of 6'3" guards this year. Trust me, this one is different. I haven't seen anybody do what I'm about to do. And if you have, let me know down in the comments because this build is actually insane. I was shocked when I found it. But anyways, we are going to go with 170 pounds and a 6'7" wingspan. This is by far the best physical setup. I looked at a ton of different stuff for these 6'3s, and I even looked at 6'4" and 6'2" guards. There just wasn't anything quite as good. Not too much more to say about this though. Trust me on it. Let's get into the finishing stats. All right, here we are with the finishing. We are going to go with a 74 close shot, 78 driving layup, 89 driving dunk to get those contact dunks, and then we're going to go with a 41 standing and a 36 post control. Now, this first version of the build is going to be the build that I get cat breakers on, and it's absolutely nuts, but if you're not going to get cat breakers or you don't think for some reason you're going to hit starter 3, I am going to include a non-cat breaker version at the end of this video. So if you want to, you can check that out, but trust me, if you have any chance at getting starter 3 at all, you're going to want to make this first version. It is way better. But getting back into it, for our finishing badges, we are going to get Silver Float Game, Bronze Paint Prodigy, Hall of Fame Aerial Wizard, and Bronze Layup Mixmaster, so we're going to be knocking down a ton of layups. If you haven't done it already, make sure you're turning on real player percentage layups. You make way more than trying to time it this year. I know real player percentage is crazy, but it goes in way more, so make sure you're turning that on. 89 driving dunk is going to go ahead and get a silver posterizer, and also unlock a ton of different contact dunk animations. I have a couple builds with this 89 rating, and it is very good this year. I enjoy dunking. I like getting contact dunks, but I don't really want to invest too much more than this 89, especially on a guard build when we want to get high ball handle and three-pointer. Not to mention what you're about to see later on with our defense is crazy. Like I said, have not seen it on a guard build this year. Rounding out the finishing though, the standing dunk's not going to get us too much with that 41, but it will help us get a few more animations if we get stuck under the rim. And then the 36 post control, not going to do anything. It just ended up coming up with other stuff we upgraded, so don't worry about that. This isn't even the craziest part of the build. Let's check out the shooting. All right, getting right into the shooting here, we are going to go with an 83 mid-range, 93 three-point rating, and an 86 free throw on this build. Now listen closely. These are our current ratings, but as I said, I am going to use cat breakers on this build. And once you hit starter 3, you get 5 points to use. I will be using 1 point on my three-pointer right away to get that to a 94. And I'll tell you where I'm using the other 4 later. But the important thing is to remember I am using 1 cat breaker point, getting that 3 to 94, and that is going to get us all gold shooting badges, gold Deadeye, gold limitless range, gold mini marksman, set shot specialist, and shifty shooter. Not to mention unlock us a ton, if not any jump shot animation we want in the game. I haven't found a jump shot yet that I want to use that has a higher rating than this, especially on a guard. Everybody's using Cam Thomas anyways. And once you have that really good jump shot and all these gold shooting badges, that 83 mid-range is going to feel a lot higher. You're going to be shooting insanely consistent on this build. And all we had to do is use 1 cat breaker point. Now, like I said, stick around to the end if you want the non-cat breaker version. Not quite as good, but I do have an option for you guys too that will not be hitting starter 3. Rounding out the shooting though, we are going to go with a 86 free throw. Going to knock those down super consistently. I haven't had any trouble with free throw this year, so this should be more than enough to get the job done. Getting into the playmaking, again, listen very closely. I'm going to be using some cat breakers here also, but we do get a 71 pass accuracy, 91 ball handle off rib, and a 91 speed with ball. Now, if you did not know, every single dribble move in the entire game is unlocked at a 95 ball handle, so that is where I will be using my last 4 cat breaker points. So once I apply those, I will unlock that Steve Francis as well as every other dribble move in the game, and I'll also have gold ankle assassin, Hall of Fame handles for days so I can dribble forever, and gold unpluckable on this build. Not to mention, we don't have to add any cat breakers to our speed with ball. We already start with a 91 to get the Hall of Fame lightning launch, and I will be using my max +1 on that. So on this build that's already got insane stats, we will also have legend lightning launch. And then again, just talking about pass accuracy real quick, I've talked about it in all my other videos. 71, more than enough this year as long as you're throwing smart passes. It's also going to get us bronze break starter and silver dimer. You're going to be throwing very good passes still on this build. I don't really see any point in going any higher than that unless you're playing like Comp Pro-Am. But seriously, just use some IQ when you're throwing passes, and 71 is plenty this year. We've seen some offensive heavy point guards like this year, but where my build sets itself apart is the defense, so let's check that out now. All right, as you can see right off rip, these are some insanely high defensive stats for a 6'3" 3-point guard. We are going to get a 67 interior, 85 perimeter, 91 steal, and a 63 block on this build. The interior is only going to help us get off-ball pests, but even though it doesn't give us more badges, just having this rating higher will get you more stops in the paint. Play hands up, play straight up contests. You're going to get a lot more stops having this on 67 compared to if you didn't upgrade it at all, so it's definitely worth it, and it's pretty cheap on these guard builds. 85 perimeter is going to get us everything we need on this build. Silver challenger, silver on-ball menace, silver pick dodger. Getting those contests on the perimeter, you don't want to get shot over super consistently. So having this up to an 85 will get you way more stops, make people miss more shots, get a little bit bumpy. We do have a little bit of strength and some pretty good agility on this build, so having this perimeter defense will get us more stops. And you're going to be locking people up pretty consistently. They're not going to expect it from a smaller guard, but it will happen. 91 steal is a great spot for gold glove and gold interceptor. This is exactly what I was talking about earlier. Being able to use those cap breakers on our playmaking and shooting allows us to have more points to mess around with on defense, and it changes our build completely. This is why I was saying if you have any chance of getting starter 3 at all, you're going to want to make this first version, because we're also able to round this out with a 63 block, which, like I said, same thing with interior, doesn't unlock you any badges, but it will help you get blocks. The rating's still important, even if it doesn't unlock a badge. I'm absolutely loving the defense on this build, super well-rounded, and I'm not even trying to hype myself up, the best point guard build I've seen yet this year. Not only are these stats crazy though, we get some insane physicals on this build, so let's check that out now. Here it is, we do end up getting an 87 speed, super fast. We're going to beat everybody up and down the court. This is also going to help with off-ball dexing. So if your center catches the ball and you're trying to get open, you're going to be able to outrun everybody else. A lot of defenders only have like an 85 or lower speed this year. So being faster than them is a huge advantage. 80 agility also going to help with a ton of defense badges as well as a couple of our shooting badges. You're going to be sliding your feet super fast, going to help you get a lot of stops. 50 strength is going to help us win a few matchup battles against lockdowns. It's going to help us get more blow-bys, more bumps on defense. Having a little bit of strength is definitely beneficial. And then 80 vertical, like I said, I want to be able to get all those contact dunks. And it's also going to get us better lane steals, better everything. Honestly, vertical is very slept on this year. It's a really good attribute to upgrade. And if we do end up getting our second set of cap breakers, you could always upgrade the driving dunk to a 93 with those to be able to get the next level of posterizer. Get even more contact dunks. Honestly, if I hit veteran 2, which I plan on it, I will probably put it on driving dunk. Get us those extra contact dunks with that gold posterizer and make the build even better. Let's check out the build name for this one real quick, and then I'll walk you through the version of no cap breakers. Again, make this one if you can, but I do have that second one for you, so let's check that out right after this build name. All right, and for the build name, we do get a two-way 3-level shot creator. Nothing special. I've seen it a whole bunch of times this year. But honestly, the way this build plays, it's worth taking the build name that's not as cool. Not too much to say about this. Let's check out the non-cap breaker version of this build real quick. All right, and here's the non-cap breaker version. Like I said, all we did for this one was lower the steal a little bit. Ended up putting some of those attribute points. I wanted to make sure to get the 92 ball handle so you unlock more dribble moves and you get a few extra badges. Dumped a few more points into standing dunk. Not too much different, but we did have to start with that higher ball handle because you don't get the extra attribute points. Still an extremely solid option for a build at the guard position if you guys are not going to get those cap breakers. Not too much else to say about it. Here's all the stats for it. If you guys enjoyed this one or it helped you out at all, drop a like, drop a sub on your way out. Appreciate you watching to the end, and I will catch you in the next one.